All right, let's take a look at Palantir. You know what we'll do? Let's actually start with the Palantir chart here real quick, and we'll go back. I got a couple of stories here. A lot of the news actually revolves around Palantir. Here's where we're at. So we're currently at 191.5 in the pre-market. This is what it looks like. So after we reported, stock traded up to about 222. 222 and backed off, tried to bounce, set a much higher low, and then rolled over in the pre-market, rolled over in the after hours, dipped again here in the pre-market. Now, the good news here is that we have this 190 to 194 sideways range in the pre-market here today. So we'll be looking to see if we get a breakout or breakdown from this range. A back test would give us even more confidence on a potential entry to a long or short trade on Palantir. This is definitely one of the things that I'm going to be watching here today. And if any of you folks are looking to trade Palantir in either direction, I want to hear not only what your trade idea is, but what you're monitoring to take entry on that. I think the group can really kind of help each other with that. So this is kind of where we're at inside on Palantir. Here's what the daily chart looks like. The big thing for me, or the big notable thing for me here, is that the 20-day moving average is at 185.62. So to me, it sure seems like at minimum a test of this would be on deck. The last time that we did this, we actually tested the 50-day, which was not far beneath it, kind of bounced around in that range. I could see the exact same thing here with Palantir. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the end of it. The last couple of times we've come down here, the 50-day moving average has absolutely provided support over multiple sessions and held the stock price up. That 50-day moving average value at 176.45. Here's a look at the earnings report. They did report their third quarter financial results after the market closed yesterday. They reported revenue of $1.18 billion for the third quarter, which beat the analyst estimate of $1.09 billion. The AI software company reported third quarter adjusted earnings of 21 cents per share. That beat the analyst estimates of 17 cents per share, according to Benzinga Pro. Total revenue was up 63% year over year in the quarter, as U.S. revenue grew 77% year over year to $883 million. U.S. commercial revenue increased 121% year over year to $397 million, and U.S. government revenue jumped 52% year over year to $486 million. Palantir's customer count grew 45% year over year and 7% on a quarter over quarter basis. The company said it closed 204 deals worth over $1 million during the quarter, 91 deals worth at least $5 million, and 53 deals worth at least $10 million. So no trouble getting the big deals there for Palantir. It generated $508 million in cash from operations and $540 million in adjusted free cash flow in the quarter. Palantir ended the period with approximately $6.4 billion in cash equivalents, and short-term U.S. Treasury securities. Quote, 114%, our rule of 40 score. The last time that we covered Palantir earnings, if memory serves, I think we had a rule of 40 score in the low 90s. I think it was like 92, 93. I'd have to go back and check, but I remember it being an incredibly high score. It's even higher now, 114%. These results make undeniable the transformational impact of using AIP to compound AI leverage. That came from Alex Karp, co-founder and CEO of Palantir. Palantir expects fourth quarter revenue to be in the range of $1.327 billion to $1.331 billion versus the analyst estimate of $1.19 billion. Palantir also raised its full year guidance. The company now expects full year 2025 revenue of $4.396 billion to $4.4 billion. That's up from the prior guide of $4.14 to $4.15 billion. Analysts are forecasting full year revenue of $4.17 billion. Palantir raised its U.S. commercial revenue guidance, adjusted income from operations guidance, and adjusted free cash flow guidance for 2025. The company noted that it continues to expect positive GAAP operating income and net income in each quarter this year. Now, along with that rule of 40 here, let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, the results are strong, and the performance across many key metrics very, very good. During the third quarter earnings call on Monday, Karp described the company's performance as unprecedented, saying that it went far beyond what would normally be considered strong results, calling them, quote, arguably the best results that any software company has ever delivered, end quote. He also said in that conference call that Palantir gives the U.S. a, quote, unfair advantage over other nations. Just incredible stuff. Karp pointed to the company's Rule of 40 score, a key benchmark used for evaluating software as a service companies, which essentially involves adding the annual revenue growth to profit margins. A score of 40 and above is considered healthy for SaaS companies, while Palantir scored nearly triple this figure at an unprecedented 114, with its revenues surging 63% year over year and its profit margins at 51%. Just eye-popping numbers here. A normal enterprise company should not have a rule of 40 above 100, he said, underscoring the rarity of that level of simultaneous growth and profitability. Karp took a swipe at analysts skeptical of Palantir's valuation and long-term prospects. This is something we've been kicking around for some time here. Quote, they're wrong at every single round, but of course they're persuasive and they're not investing their own money, end quote. The company released its third quarter results on Monday, reporting $1.18 billion in revenue, which was up 63% year over year and beat the street at $109 billion. It reported profit of 21 cents per share, which beat the analyst estimate of 17 cents per share. Palantir shares were up 3.35% on Monday, closing at $207 before dropping 5.21% in overnight trade following the earnings announcement. This is interesting because the first move was up, followed by a pretty nasty reversal. And I believe that the options, let me see if I can find this here real quick. Options implied an 8.7% move on Palantir. Looks like we're getting close to that here on the downside. We'll see where it ends up shaking out.